You're tuning into the High Performance Path podcast, and I'm your host, Alex. If you want to increase your productivity, enhance your mental performance, hack your sleep, and build a bulletproof body, then you're in the right place. Get ready as we dive into interviews with performance coaches, business owners, and health professionals to find out their daily routines, habits, and movement practices. All right, let's go. All right, welcome back to the High Performance Path. I've got a guest that's been on the show before. I've got Russ with me.
Hello.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about a recovery tool that we both use. It's a fitness tracker. It's going to be in the title, so it's not a surprise. It's the Whoop. But before we dive into this episode, I just want to clarify, I'm not sponsored by Whoop. Russ isn't sponsored by Whoop. So it's not a sponsored episode, if that makes sense. It's an unbiased kind of, not really a review of the product, but what we're going to be talking about is how we use this tool to help our recovery and then just to help our training and everything like that.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So let's start with what the Whoop is.
So, like physically what it is, it's just a simple band that wraps around your wrist. It's got a nice little heart rate monitor in it. And it doesn't have a like digital face or analog face or anything like that.
Doesn't tell the time.
Which I kind of like.
Me too.
I wanted something like really simplistic, and I'll probably refer to like the Apple Watch and stuff a couple of times in this, but I kind of like that it's not connected to everything else in my life. So I do like that feature of it. Yeah.
So to get all the data from the fitness tracker, you use the Whoop app on your phone instead of having a screen, which I do like as well, because having it's not supposed to be something like a watch, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, everything, all the data that it tracks puts it straight up onto the app on your phone. And like, because there is so much like information on there, like trying to have it on a small face would just be like too hard anyway. Like, especially for people that use it in like fitness and people that surf and mountain bike and like, I don't know, do jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Like, they don't want anything too bulky to wear. Like, it would just be too hard. So having that feature, like Bluetoothing it to the app, is like pretty perfect.
Yeah, they actually have a sleeve as well, like an elbow sleeve,
I've
which
seen
I've seen.
that.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen personally anyone using it.
Yeah.
But I know
they recommend it to like
I think
fighters and stuff, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I think I saw a basketball player with one on,
that would be good.
because you can't wear something on your wrist when you're playing
True.
those sports, or like a fighter, for example.
Yeah.
So so the way it tracks your data, it uses like a sensor, and it tracks your heart. Now, traditionally, heart rate sensors on the wrists, they're not as accurate as the straps that go around your chest. And that kind of put me off getting a fitness tracker for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to spend the money on a fitness tracker if it's not accurate.
Yeah.
But now, after kind of waiting until one has been, good enough for me to justify spending the money on, this is one of the first ones that I kind of saw, and I thought, this is probably what I've been waiting for.
Definitely.
Basically, what it does, it measures 5 different metrics, 50 to 100 times per second. That's crazy. 50 to 100 times a second.
Yep.
It's measuring shit.
It's incredible. Yeah, so it's taking those that heart rate data just like constantly. So again, super different to like an Apple Watch, because I've done a lot of comparing on the two. Apple Watch doesn't really track your heart rate a lot of the time. It'll push. You can got to push for it. So
Oh,
you got to,
really?
yeah, you got to like turn it on and like not turn on, but like open up the heart rate tracker and it'll like take a second to
Yeah,
calibrate
okay.
and then it'll flash up your heart rate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So compared to like Whoop, it's like it's
Constantly.
tracking all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things I like about the Whoop is the fact that you wear it 24 hours a day. So you wear it when you sleep.
Yep.
It's not big and bulky enough to annoy you when you sleep.
Definitely.
And the battery life, because it doesn't have a digital display, it doesn't show the time, that actually allows the battery life to last. I think it lasts 5 days.
5 days.
4 to 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome. You only got to charge it once, and you've got 10 days.
Exactly right. So if you were doing a trip away or something, like you charge it up, you've got 5 days ready to rock.
Yeah.
Take the battery pack with you, which just slips on.
Yeah.
Over the top.
And
boom,
that
another 5 days.
with the battery pack on, it's about the same size as a normal watch face. So even with the battery pack on, I think I think it takes maybe an hour to charge, if that. Can you remember?
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
So you just put it on when you're at home, doing whatever you're doing at home, and then in an hour it's charged. You got another 5 days.
Yeah.
Which is super easy.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really cool.
So let's go through what the Whoop actually tracks and what it shows. So I'm going to open up my Whoop app and I'm going to explain to you guys listening what you see in the overview screen. So in the overview screen, it's got 5 things that it shows. It gives you a recovery score, which is a percent. So it's out of 100. It shows your heart rate variability, which goes together with your recovery score. It shows your strain, your daily strain for that day. So how much strain you've been under for that total day. It starts when you wake up at 0. And then as you go through your day, it gradually increases. It shows your calories, and then it shows your sleep or your sleep score. So they're the 5 things that we're going to kind of dive into and explain a little bit and talk a little bit about ours and what we've kind of found with it. Before we dive into any of those, what were your initial expectations with what your scores were going to be like how your sleep was, or how many kind of calories you burn in a day? Before getting the Whoop, what were your kind of expectations?
So, yeah, I didn't really have many like expectations. Like I didn't get the Whoop and say like, oh, I already know that or I think that I'm sleeping this well or burning this many calories or et cetera, et cetera. But something that did shock me was on like obviously bigger days, like say a day that I'm doing lots of training and then very active through the day, like how many calories like I was burning compared to what I would be eating. So like I use like my fitness pal and track how much food I eat. But then to see how much I was missing out on for those bigger days was like crazy, massively eye-opening.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So that's been really cool to see the difference between those.
Yeah.
So I was able to sort of change my calories a little bit, which has been really good for like helping recovery and stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is like I have sort of always been like a pretty poor sleeper. So I wasn't too like shocked when Whoop was like, "Bro, you are not sleeping very well. Hey, like you need more sleep."
Wow.
So, but again, like being able to see that in data and say, "Oh shit, like I do need more sleep," and then we'll probably come to it in a second, but putting a lot more effort into getting quality sleep.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
black
So
and white what it shows you.
yeah,
And you can't escape what's the truth.
yeah, it's really really good.
Yeah.
So they're probably the two main ones. Yeah, there's that calorie count and sleep. Yeah, yeah.
For me, before getting the Whoop, I'd been learning a lot about sleep. And that was one of the reasons why this appealed to me,
Yep.
because of how accurate it seemed to be with the sleep.
Yep.
So initially I thought like my sleep was pretty good.
Yep.
It's not as good as it is now since using this for 6 months.
Yep.
So I might add that in as well. I've been it's now May, and I got the Whoop in December, so I've been using it for about 6 months. How long have you been
Yeah.
using it for?
Probably about 10 months now.
Yeah, cool. I
Yeah.
think this is a good time to do something like this to see what we've done and see like the changes we've made and
Yeah.
if they have made positive impacts on recovery or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I kind of thought that my sleep was going to show up as being pretty good.
Yep.
The calories, I really had no idea.
It's one of those things like if you haven't really like had some kind of calorie tracker before, you don't really know where you're sort of starting. So
Yeah.
it was that's tough, definitely.
All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's start with
And I will add one
yeah.
thing to that as well, like and Whoop like openly says this as well, like tracking calories is like really hard to do. So like say for example I burn 3,000 calories in a day, that could definitely be out. Whoop says like plus or minus about 200 calories,
Yeah.
which is I guess a fair bit, 200 calories. But there's literally nothing you can do about it. The
Why is that a fact that it could be out based on what you're calculating your food to be
that's
or the calories that the Whoop's saying you've burnt?
the calories that Whoop's saying that I've burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah. The compared to like the gold standard of like wearing like a face mask and like actually
And looking like a science
and looking
experiment.
like a science experiment on a treadmill running like and testing how much like carbon dioxide you breathe
Yeah.
out and stuff like that. Unless you're doing that, um, tracking your calories through heart rate is pretty tough. And Whoop openly admits that. So it's a really good guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I actually came across a study that shows the accuracy of the Whoop sleep.
Yeah, so the sleep side is very different. Like all the sleep and the heart rate accuracy is like extremely high. You can probably go into it a bit more, but the sleep cycle, they can get your heart rate to within 1 beat per minute. And Whoops now tracks your respiratory rate as well. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Whoop actually records your like your breathing rate, how much you breathe every minute, and they've got that to within a breath per minute as well, which is like really
Really,
accurate.
really accurate.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, let's dive into the first thing that it shows, which is the recovery. So the recovery score,
yep,
it's a percentage out of 100.
yep,
And basically, that's the first thing I check when I wake up
yeah,
because that will determine what I had planned for that day, whatever
definitely.
workout, whatever, that determines my intentions for the rest of that day.
Yeah, for sure.
They split it up into a red zone, yellow zone, and green zone.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to look at. It's basically just a third each. So
Yep.
if you're
33, 33, 33 sort of thing.
yeah, from
Yeah.
0 to 33%, you're in the red zone.
Yep.
From 33 to 66, you're in the yellow.
Yep.
And then 67 and above, you're in the green.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, like if you wake up and your recovery is in the red zone, it's sort of like take it easy today. Like your nervous system is telling you that you're not fully recovered. You may have not got the best sleep last night. Don't thrash yourself in training, or don't try and take it easy during that day.
Well, that's what I was going to
I
ask you,
guess.
actually, how you, like, when you wake up and you're yellow,
Yep.
what of your plans or your training plans changes
Yeah.
for you?
So I guess if I wake up and like today is a good example of that. I've only got a 41% recovery today.
I'm 42.
So that's a pretty low recovery for me. Generally, mine are a bit higher than that.
Yeah.
But today is a training day, so I'd look at this and go, I'm in the yellow. I'm still going to train, but I'm not going to make it like a double day, or I'm not going to push for a 1 rep max or things like that.
I'm glad you said that because that's the same approach I have.
Yeah, yeah. So like I wouldn't push myself in a second workout this afternoon, and for no real reason, really.
Yeah.
That's where the risk of injury comes from. So like Whoop's whole like premise thing, right, is like for recovery and injury prevention. So it's super easy for me to look at this and say pretty low recovery today. Like my chances of getting injured would be higher. Like don't thrash myself today. Still
But
train.
still train.
Still train. Like 41% is not like low. It's average, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just under 50%. So still train, but don't like I wouldn't push for 1 rep max a day. And like I said, train again or something silly.
Yeah. So how I go about it, it sounds pretty similar. If I wake up and I'm in the red, then I'll do an active recovery day at most. I won't train. I won't do like a workout.
Yeah.
Now, if I wake up and I'm in the yellow, it's like if I plan to train that day, I will still train.
Yep.
But I won't like I'll probably stick to 85% and under.
Yeah.
I won't redline a workout, and I won't do a double workout, like a double session. And I'll make sure that I have a good quality sleep that night, things like that. And if I wake up, if I'm in the green and I didn't plan to train, I will do a workout regardless. Because I think what a lot of people try to do is stay in the green every day.
Yeah.
Which does mean you're recovered. But if you're in the green for 7 days or longer, you're not straining your body hard enough to get stronger and fitter. You're not putting your body under enough strain, and that's what we need to grow.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that in because, I mean, you want to stay in the green so that you can train.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're 7 days in a row in the green, I mean, your diet and your sleep might be, it could be perfect, and that might be why you're in the green. But that means you haven't really trained hard enough that week.
Yeah.
Because the idea of training is to put your body under stress so that it needs to recover, and rest so that you recover, and then repeat that.
And rebuild and
as much as possible.
Yeah.
And the whoop really helps that.
Yeah.
Because you can see, okay, I need to put in a hard workout today because I'm in the green. And then you kind of go off like that. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, yeah. And like, so what's the like recovery score like built up from? So it's got like HRV is probably the main influencer on recovery score, and your sleep. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into HRV.
Yep.
So that's heart rate variability.
Let's take a dive.
So most people know what your heart rate is.
Yep.
It's measured in beats per minute. So how many heart beats in a minute, in 60 seconds. You can calculate that by, just counting your heartbeats in 15 seconds and then timesing that by 4 or whatever.
I think you can even do that like pretty inaccurately, like on your phone and stuff. And
I think
you can like test your own pulse. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your heart rate. Your heart rate variability is the time in between each heartbeat. Because each heartbeat, it's not the exact amount of time in between each heartbeat.
Yeah.
For an example, your heartbeat, 2 heartbeats might have 1.1 seconds in between. And then the third heartbeat, the time between the second and the third might be 0.8 seconds.
Yep.
So from 0.8 to 1.1, that's 0.3 seconds difference. That's your heart rate variability.
Yep.
So basically
Whoop grabs that heart rate variability, that change in your heart rate. It grabs that in your last sleep cycle of the night. So like, I don't know, that might be like 90 minutes before you sort of wake up each day. It'll go through, you'll be going through your last sleeping cycle, and that's when Whoop grabs that. So it takes it at the same time every single day. So that's a super important thing to point out as well, that it's taking the same point every single day.
Yeah. So everyone is going to be different as well. Some people might have a high heart rate variability.
Yep.
But consistently, that might just be them. So over time,
Definitely.
Whoop, it calibrates it to the individual wearing it.
Yep.
And it knows what's low for that person, or it knows what's high for that individual person.
Definitely.
So it uses that, and that's a really good tool to find out how well recovered you are.
Yeah. Because your nervous system controls your heart rate and your heart rate variability. That's like a direct correlation between how rested your central nervous system is.
Yeah.
Because if it's like really flat, like and struggling and not not very variable, you're probably going to have a low recovery score for that day.
Yes.
But if it's like recovered, it's active, your heart rate variability can change like at a drop of a dime if something happens and you need to react to it really quickly. Your higher heart rate variability, the more active your central nervous system is, the more recovered you are for that day.
Yes. So your ability to, let's dive into heart rate variability a little bit, like nervous systems. So you've got you've got your parasympathetic nervous system, which is also called your rest and digest.
Yep.
It's
telling your body to relax.
It's
digest
lower
the
heart
food.
rate. Lower heart rate. That's when your digestive system starts working because it knows you're relaxed.
Yep.
And then you've got your sympathetic nervous system, which is also known as your fight or flight nervous system, which is high heart rate, adrenaline, ready to fight an enemy or run, fight or flight.
Yep.
So your ability to swap between those two nervous systems, when you can change between them easier, it means you're more recovered.
Yep.
So that's when your variability is higher.
Yep.
You can swap between those two nervous systems easier, so your body can handle that like stress a lot easier.
Yeah.
And so you're more recovered, and so that helps with that. So that's a little bit about that. I won't dive into it too more because I don't want people to get confused. Hopefully everyone's on the same page with us still.
So anyway, Whoop uses that HRV to help calculate your recovery score each day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that enough? Have we covered everything with recovery? Is there anything else you want to dive into?
Let's go straight into sleep because sleep plays pretty heavily into that recovery as well.
Let's do that.
Whoop breaks down sleep into a few different like categories each night. So through your sleep cycles.
So you also get a sleep performance score.
Yeah.
Which is out of 100.
Yep. So let's start there. That's probably better, to be honest.
So your sleep performance score is how much sleep you got out of your total sleep that you needed.
Yep. So say you were
quality.
in bed for 9 hours, it doesn't mean you got 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah, this is actually something that I learned that I didn't know before getting this Whoop.
Yeah.
I would quite often aim to have an 8 hour sleep just because I want to, 8 hours is shown to be a really good amount of sleep.
A good amount of sleep, yep.
But every time I'm in bed and asleep for 8 hours, you're not actually asleep for those whole 8 hours.
No.
You can have a shit quality sleep and you might only have 6 hours of sleep. And that's really without realizing.
Yep.
So every time you enter a sleep cycle and finish a sleep cycle, you drift in and out of deep sleep and like into light sleep.
Yep.
You can actually be awake at the end of a sleep cycle when you're in that light sleep, but not remember it.
Yep.
And then you drift off into another sleep cycle where you enter that deep sleep.
Yeah.
All those minutes of being awake, it's like
they add up.
They do add up.
Yeah.
And I pretty much, it's stayed pretty consistent. Every time I have an 8 hour sleep, I'm awake for about half an hour. So quite consistently, I have an 8 hour sleep, but I only get a 7.5 hour sleep.
Yeah.
Pretty consistently. And that shocked me, actually.
Yeah. Because that was one of the things that I learned as well. Like, I kind of knew that I wasn't a very good sleeper anyway, but to see that, like I'm awake at all these points in the night, it shows you like your heart rate during the night, and you can select a setting and it will show you like how many times you've sort of woken up during the night. And I was like, geez Louise, like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, for example, I'm just looking at mine, like last night I was awake for 25 minutes during my bedtime. Yeah. It's crazy.
So I didn't have the best sleep last night. My time in bed was 8 hours and 3 minutes. However, I was awake for 45 minutes. So I only got 7 hours, 18 minutes.
Yep.
Which isn't actually that bad. After using the Whoop for quite a while, if I get anything more than 7 hours, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I call that a pretty decent sleep.
Yep.
If I get 8 hours, then that's awesome. But pretty much to get 8 hours, I gotta be in bed asleep for 8.5 hours, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to go to bed that early when you've
Definitely.
It is really hard to do.
So the really cool feature of Whoop is because it learns your sleeping behaviors. What it will actually do is give you a time to go to bed and a time to wake up
Yes.
to hit your proper circadian rhythms, like your sleep cycles, but also to get enough sleep. So it might say go to bed at, let's say, go to bed at 9 and get up at 7 and get, what's that, like 10 hours sleep sort of thing, or be in bed for 10 hours. But that Whoop knows that if you're going to go to bed at 9 o'clock, you're not going to get to sleep for 15 minutes. And then you're going to be awake for half an hour during the night. And then it knows that you are awake for half an hour before you actually get up. So it knows that out of that 10 hours that you're going to be in bed, you're only going to sleep 9. But it can give you a really accurate time at what time to go to bed, what time to get up to get enough sleep.
Yeah, I think that's really good actually.
Yeah, it's a super cool feature.
Does that come up automatically in your notifications?
No.
Like on your phone?
So
Because
what?
I get notifications every night.
Yeah,
At about,
what time to go to bed?
Yeah, like
Have you seen the sleep coach thing?
yeah. So I was going to ask that.
Yes.
If you use that.
Yep,
Because I don't use that too often
I do.
because that comes up for me as a notification. At about
Yeah.
like 7 o'clock,
Yep.
I get a notification that says get to bed by 8:45
Yeah.
to get whatever sleep.
And it sends you that push notification because if you've had a big workout during the day, that's going to add to your sleep needed that night.
Yeah.
So Whoop calculates that you've had a big day and you need more sleep.
It's so good. It's so good. This is such
It's incredible.
a good recovery tool.
Yeah. So when I wake up in the morning and I haven't trained and it's I've only been awake for 2 or 3 hours, my sleep need for that night might be 7.5 hours. But then I train and then I go to work and then I have some stress in my day. All of a sudden, that 7.5 hours Whoop now can calculate that and go, bro, you now need 8.5 hours sleep. That means you're going to need 9 hours, 15 minutes actually in bed to get that 8.5 hours sleep.
Yeah, so
That's
it's more
really
real
cool.
time.
Yeah.
It changes throughout the day based on what is happening in your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think you just mentioned there stress from work or something. I want to add that in here because stress can impact how much recovery we need. If
Definitely.
you have a stressful life, like a stressful job, or
Yep.
if you've got relationship stress, or if
Yep.
you're going through, a divorce or something that's going to add stress into your life,
Plays a big factor.
yes, you need to recover a lot more than if you didn't have that stress.
Yep.
Because when you go to the gym, you're putting stress on your body,
Mhm.
and we need stress to then grow.
Mhm.
And that stress can come from working out. It can come from just our work. We could have a stressful week at work or
Yep.
just a stressful job in general.
Yep.
And all that stress adds up.
It's like stress is stress is stress. Like it's all the same thing, whether it's physical or mental.
So I wanted to add something actually about that and choosing when, like how much to train in a week. If you're really stressed and haven't had much sleep, then we all go to the gym to improve our health.
Yep.
It may be a better decision for you to not train
Yeah.
because that's adding more stress to your body.
Yep.
And what you actually need is more recovery at that time.
Yeah.
If you could have had a big week at work, or you could have something stressful coming up that's stressing you out, and that can be, and you might have had, a friend's birthday, a function that you had to go out and have a late night and maybe have drinks as well. And so you're adding stress onto your body.
Yep.
Now, going to the gym, you think that that's going to be a healthy decision. Sometimes it's a worse thing to go to the gym.
Yeah, and just load yourself up with more stress.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think, "Oh, I've had such a big week. I've had beers on the weekend as well. I need to go to the gym tomorrow."
Yep.
Not a good idea. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Yeah, definitely.
But it's hard to kind of know.
That's where Whoop comes in.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
might have a red recovery. You might have a red recovery score and not realize.
Yeah.
It also, the Whoop it you might have 3 days in a row where you're in the red,
Mm.
and you might be like, "What the hell's going on? Nothing has changed.
Mm.
My sleep's been fine. I haven't had any late nights. Haven't been eating crap." And then on that fourth day, you might get sick.
Mm.
So the Whoop it can help you avoid getting sick.
Yeah.
If you get 2 or 3 red days in a row, or however many,
Yeah.
you can
Like something
you
could be
can be
coming
like,
up.
okay, I need to make sure I'm getting extra sleep
Yeah.
or having more vegetables or something so that I can get out of the red, because that's when our body's stressed.
Yeah.
And adding more stress means our immune system's low. We can get sick, stuff like that.
Need some tender love and care.
Yes.
What's your lowest ever recovery?
I've only had one really low recovery, and I think it's because I don't really drink much anymore.
Yeah.
But it was on a Bucks weekend, and I think it wasn't really that low. I think it was 8% or something,
Yeah.
which was really low for me.
I mean, that's really low anyway.
Whenever I'm in the red, I'm usually out of the red the next day
Yeah.
because I can focus on whatever.
Yep.
But I think that's my lowest, and I'd had maybe 3 or 4 hours sleep,
Yeah.
maybe less, probably 3 hours. Been on the beers all night.
Yep.
Like, actually, and I woke up and I was at like 8 recovery,
Mm.
and that was Saturday morning.
Did you go to the gym that day?
we I definitely didn't, but I still had, because it was 2 nights this Bucks,
Yep.
so I had another whole day of
You had to
drinking
back it
and
up.
night, and I was like,
Stress
oh
on stress
no,
on stress on
I'm
stress.
already starting Saturday morning at 8%. What am I going to be like on Sunday?
Dead.
And I was like, oh, and my recovery score was better the next day after drinking all day again.
Yeah, right.
I think because I did get more sleep.
Yeah.
Even though I've been drinking all day and all night, I think I got more sleep.
Yeah.
So my recovery was up. Wasn't in the green, that's for sure. It was, yeah. What's your lowest?
That's funny. Yeah, I think mine's about the same. Something like ridiculously low. And it was like because we like had a CrossFit competition all day, and then we went out that night to like celebrate, and so yeah, like trained all day, and then went out and bloody got on the piss all night, couple hours sleep, and just like super dead the next day. Just like I am not getting off the couch. Hey, this is absolutely cooked.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, really
so
bad.
that's generally after having like no sleep and adding in alcohol.
Yeah. Generally, though, like I don't get red recoveries because I sleep consistently and eat well and stuff like that. So if you're consistently getting red recoveries, something's up. Like you need to change something. Like unless you're doing something out of the ordinary, red recoveries aren't like consistently normal. Like you say, like
Yeah, not for me either.
yeah,
I'm usually out of it the next day.
yeah.
Unless I don't think I've really gotten very sick
Yeah.
since having this Whoop.
Yeah.
And that could be because of the Whoop, because
Yeah.
I can focus on staying in the green
Yeah.
and then training and then staying back in the green. Something came to mind, but I forgot what it was.
We'll come back to it.
We will. I'm sure it'll pop up later on in the episode. So, what were we on before we went on? We're in sleep.
Our little tangent there on how terrible our recoveries are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add actually. Alcohol. So alcohol, a lot of people think after, being out on the beers all day or at night or whatever,
Yeah.
they just get into bed and they just conk out and sleep straight away.
Yeah.
They might sleep for 8 hours or 9 hours even.
Mm.
Typically, like we said before, the quality of your sleep is really what matters. You can have a 9-hour sleep, but it can be shit quality. And it doesn't mean you've had 9 hours. It doesn't mean you're going to be Superman the next day. You could have maybe only had 4 hours.
Yeah, like if you go to bed, if you've had a couple of drinks or something like that, and go to bed, so you get to bed by midnight, and you're getting up at like 8, and you're like, oh, that's 8 hours sleep, like I'll be fine. Yeah, like you say, you're probably only getting like I don't know, but let's say 4 hours sleep because you've gone to bed, crashed out. Your body's not going through proper sleep cycles. You're snoring. You're ridiculously dehydrated. All these things
Yes.
factor into it. So the quality of your sleep is just like absolutely trash. So yeah, you've been in bed for a few extra hours, but your sleep is still like zilch.
So this when you go into the sleep tab in the Whoop app
Mm.
and you go to say last night's sleep,
Mm.
it shows your whole sleep, and then it shows the time you've spent um,
Sleep
in each
phase.
stage of
Yeah.
sleep, overall out of all the cycles. So it breaks it up into
Yep.
Your total time spent awake, total time spent in light sleep,
Mm.
total time spent in REM sleep, total time spent in deep sleep.
Yep.
So you can actually see um, what practices you do at night or the day before. You can see how that's affected how much deep sleep you've had or
Definitely.
how much time you spent awake. So after a night of drinking, now I haven't had too many nights drinking I haven't had enough to kind of experiment to see how
Yep.
much it really affects my sleep. But you might go out drinking and then you'll notice that, oh, I had fuck all deep sleep and I had heaps of light sleep.
Yeah.
And that's going to affect your quality
Yeah,
of
definitely.
sleep and how you feel the next day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, um,
So I guess like, do you want to talk about?
I think that's enough about sleep.
Yeah.
Unless you want to add anything else,
No.
let's talk about strain and calories, which we've probably spoken about anyway.
We dove into that briefly, I guess. Yeah.
So your daily strain score, it starts at 0 and then it builds throughout the day.
Well, it starts at 0, but it starts when you actually go to bed.
What does it?
Yeah, so I read like this is from Whoop.
Yeah.
That's like because in the morning I wake up and I've already got like a 4 strain.
Yeah,
I'm
actually.
like, how do I wake up already with a light strain?
Yeah, actually, I've noticed I wake up at like with 1 or like 0.8
Yeah.
or something.
So it actually starts calculating like the cycle begins when you start your sleep.
Oh, right.
So your sleep from last night is the start of
Oh,
today,
yep,
sort
yep,
of thing.
yep.
Which is actually a really cool feature compared to like something that might start tracking like midnight, and that's like the cycle. But that's not like when our bodies cycle through. That's
No.
just like a time, an arbitrary time. So yeah, it starts tracking from when we go to bed, when we actually go to sleep. So like I don't know, 9 or 10.
So that
p.m.
then
at night.
ends when you go to sleep and fall asleep. That ends the previous day.
Yep.
Starts the next day.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
Yep. So in the mornings, like I wake up with like a 4 strain, and I don't know, 3 or 4, 5, 300 calories sort of already burnt from sleeping 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So
Because our body burns calories just to function.
just to function,
So
just
for
to,
your heart to beat,
Yep.
for your lungs to expand, for you to breathe,
Yep.
that's burning energy.
Yep. Definitely. So one of the things to note, I guess, about strain is that it's obviously you build it over the day, but it's not. It's not linear, I guess. So if I do a workout in the morning and my workout is like a 10 strain, if I do another workout in the afternoon, even though the workout might be really tough and stuff like that, I'm not going to build another 10 strain and have a 20, let's say 20 day strain.
Yeah.
Out of the day. It doesn't add like that because you just can't work as hard as you did in your first session compared to the second session and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess with the strain, I probably should take a step back and say that like it's out of a 21 score.
Yeah, so it caps it at 21.
Yeah.
21 is the maximum
Do you
day
know
strain.
why? I don't know why.
I have no idea why it's out of
They
21.
could have made it like 20.
That's really strange to be at 21. I have no
Yeah.
idea, actually.
Whoop do make a note though and say like no one has ever got a 21 score.
Really?
Yeah.
They probably just put it in the settings. Like,
You can't do it.
no, but again, each day strain is calibrated to the individual wearing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because 2 people can do the same workout.
Yep.
But it's going to be a different level of strain for 2 completely different bodies.
Yep, exactly.
Because of different fitness levels, different body weight.
Yep.
You know, if you run and you're heavier, that's going to be more strain on your body than someone who's lighter.
Yeah, definitely.
For example.
So Whoop like learns that and knows like sort of what a high heart rate for you is going to be.
Yeah.
And it knows what a long workout for you is going to be, and it can compare that to all the data it's already got from you.
What's your highest day strain? Do you know?
Yeah, I think I've got a 19.4
I
day
think
strain.
that's exact same as mine, or 19.5 roughly.
Where do we go for that?
I actually think it comes up in the.
Yeah, you just swipe left. Yeah, 19.7 peak day strain.
Yep.
Which is pretty high. I've seen a few people like on members pages and stuff like that, like getting into the 20s.
Yeah, I know a couple people who were hit 20.
Mm.
So mine's 19.8 peak day
Damn.
strain. Do you remember what that day was?
I don't. It would have been
I do.
like if I coached and then trained twice or something like
Yeah.
that.
So mine was.
What was yours?
So I have quite high day strains just from work.
Yep.
Which is kind of.
Because you've got a physical job, don't you?
Well, I'm a construction labourer, so I
Yep.
do civil construction, which is actually, this is something that I didn't realise how many calories I burn just from a day of work.
Yeah.
And then
Just been
adding
physical all day.
in a workout at the end of the day adds fuck all calories to my total day. It's like, it's all, most of your calories in a day is NEAT.
Yeah.
Non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
There we go.
That's what NEAT means.
Yep. So that's just your body just moving about and going about its day.
Like how you wake up, you've been asleep and you've already burnt so many calories. Just to function, our body burns calories. And so just from fidgeting, tapping your finger, whatever, that burns energy. And if you have an active job or an active lifestyle, you burn a lot more calories than someone who sits down at a desk all day.
Yep.
And I burned so many calories that I had no idea how high. I just thought I had a really fast metabolism.
Yeah.
But I think I kind of do, but I think it's partly because I've only done really active jobs.
Yep.
I guess being in the military, we're active every day, and then doing labouring pretty much.
Yep.
I'm always active, and then I'm training after work most days anyway.
Yep.
But I forgot what I was talking about at the start of that, the day strain.
Yeah. And how you?
Yeah, so my highest day strain was I started playing indoor soccer. I think it's like Wednesdays or something. And after a whole day of work, I sometimes do a CrossFit workout and then go play indoor soccer, but sometimes not because I sometimes I'll have such a big day at work, like I just shouldn't even train.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying when I'm in the red, or if I'm in the red and I want to have a rest day, I'll have some of my biggest day strains, which is annoying because it kind of just delays my recovery.
Yeah.
But that's something that's outside of my control, so I don't let that get to me too much.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of more thankful that I have an active job.
Yep.
So that I can burn so many calories every day. So it's more so a good thing than a bad thing. But I'd worked all day and we had a later start, soccer. And I was like, I can fit in a workout at CrossFit. I'll fit in the class. So I was like, I'll go and do the class and then I'll go and do indoor soccer.
Yep.
And I think it was like a 4,000 calorie day that I burned or something. And that was that.
Yep.
That was my highest day strain, 19.8.
Yeah, that's super high.
4,000 calories burnt. And then I think like eating 4,000 calories is just so much.
It's a lot.
I'm glad I don't hit that every day.
Yep,
But
it's
going
huge.
back to the NEAT, I haven't tracked calories like what I eat for ages. And it's really hard to do with an active job like me because depending on what part of the road we're building, some weeks are really physical and some weeks aren't as physical.
Yep.
Like sometimes I'm just standing there telling an excavator where to dig.
Yep.
And then I'll maybe measure it or tell him whatever. I'm still walking around, loading the truck and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then other days I'm shoveling constantly, following a grader and sweeping and, you know, really active stuff. So my one, like when you go into your strain, it's got your 7-day average.
Yep.
So I'll tell you some of my averages. So this week I averaged 2,400 calories, which isn't very much. last week I averaged 3,000 calories.
Yep.
So I actually had a 4,000 day last week.
There you go.
3,995, which I don't even remember what happened that day. And then the week before, 2,800. The week before, 3,150.
Yep.
So there's quite, they vary quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And my least strained days are the weekends because I'm not at work.
Yep.
I think that's something that I've learned. It put into perspective how many calories you burn in a day that actually come from NEAT.
Yep.
So, yeah, when I do a workout, it adds fuck all to my daily strain, really. Yep.
So, like, do you, like, say you're going to work and you know you're going to go into work that day and then you know that you're going to do a CrossFit session that day. Do you try and eat more on that day, or do you try and sleep more the night before, or stuff like that?
I generally try
I don't
and
know why
just...
I'm asking you questions.
No, go for it. This is like a... No, I want you to ask me questions. Yeah. This is kind of more a discussion anyway of both of our experiences and what we...
Because like I know that, say I have a big day of training or something, and I've got other stuff going on, and like I know that shit, it's only 12 o'clock and I'm already like well over my average sort of thing. Like shit, like I know that I'm going to eat a lot more that day, so I plan for it and do try and get in like more calories and stuff like that. Like, do you do that?
I try to, but I don't usually. I usually just stick to the same amount of calories every day.
Yeah.
Just because that's easier. Because I don't track, so I don't really know how much I'm eating anyway.
Yeah.
I just try to stay consistent over like a week period.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that, if I do have a big week at work, I'll start to eat a little bit more, but I'm still not tracking, so I'm just going off feel anyway. So it's kind of hard. Yeah.
For sure.
It's kind of hard, but to be honest, what has made a difference for me is having, when I finish work, I have a Hydrolyte.
Yep.
So what that is, you can just buy them from chemists or Woolworths.
Yeah.
It's got electrolytes in it, and it replaces minerals that you lose from like sweating. You're meant to have a Hydrolyte if you've been throwing up or if you have diarrhea or something, if you've lost a lot of fluid.
You've got a red recovery.
Yeah. So I just kind of, even though I'm not sick or anything, I just have one just to replenish my fluids and just to replace my electrolytes. And then I have a carb supplement drink. Doesn't matter what I've done that day. If I have that before training, I have energy in my workouts.
Yeah.
So I've been having that, and that's really helped.
That's good.
And that's kind of something that I just do anyway. I just put it in my daily routine. When I finish work, I have a Hydrolyte, have a carb drink, and then I can hit a workout. So yeah.
Yeah, mad.
So that's a bit about all the different areas of the Whoop and how it kind of works. Yeah. So what have you found that you've done to help your recovery since using the Whoop?
Probably those two things I spoke about in the start was just trying, like, I'm able to monitor my calories a little bit better. Even though they're not like 100% accurate, it gives me a really good guide.
Yeah.
And obviously my sleep. Now that I can see that, I need to be in bed for 9.5 hours to get 8.5 hours sleep, sweet. Like I've been able to do that. And I have noticed the difference in being able putting more effort into my sleep. Yeah, so
definitely
looking at my Whoop, and Whoop says you need to go to bed at 9:30. I'm like, oh, sweet, excellent. I've got myself now a time to go to bed, so I can start planning for that and be like, oh, I need to have dinner and I need to do this. All right, sweet, let's get into it. Rather than being like, oh, I'll get to bed when I get to bed, sort of thing, and putting it in the background. It's sort of more in the foreground. It's good.
Do you use blue light blocker glasses?
I do. Yeah.
I've found that changes the amount of deep sleep I get.
Really?
And the total sleep as well.
Yeah.
That has helped heaps. What else I've found that helps is just having a evening routine.
Yeah.
To like wind down.
Yeah.
So like that has helped my sleep score, my total sleep, my deep sleep. just winding down before bed, like it doesn't always happen, but I try to stay off my phone like half an hour before going to bed. I
Yep.
try to do some sort of yoga or stretching.
Yep.
Not like a flow yoga, more of like a yin yoga,
Mm.
like more like stretching,
Mm-hmm.
or like Romwad, for example.
Yep.
Or like a breathing practice or something.
Yep.
Because there are breathing techniques you can do, which that's a whole nother topic for another episode. But there's certain breathing techniques you can do which bring you it brings you into a parasympathetic state, which is your rest and digest. So it slows your heart rate down. It slows you down. I've done meditating at night before bed, and that kind of helps clear the mind.
Yep.
And just kind of whatever I've been thinking about, if I just meditate before bed,
Just let it go.
yeah, then that kind of helps. So those things I've found really help.
Yeah, having a routine's really good because your body learns it. It knows that, oh, something's happening, like we're winding down, we're going through this routine. It's time for bed, time for sleep, sweet, switch off. Good to go.
Anything you don't like about the Whoop? This is what we're going to finish on. I don't mean to finish on a negative, but I want to add this in. And
I've got one. It's not necessarily a negative, but it would be really cool if Whoop partnered with, like, for example, MyFitnessPal. And could like auto input calories and stuff like that, or like my exercises and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because if you could have your calories from your Whoop go into your MyFitnessPal or vice versa,
it'd be so streamlined.
It'd work really well.
It'd be really, really cool. That's something that I could add.
Yeah.
But
something that I've found, there's not many negatives I have with the Whoop really, but the fact that waking up, the first thing I want to see is my recovery score, or how long I've slept and and the quality of my sleep. To do that, I have to go on my phone to use the app. That's what I don't like, going on my phone the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But there's no way of going around it, really.
I mean, you can just not look at it for a little while, but at the same time, you want to know, right? You want to get that percentage.
Honestly, the first thing I do when I wake up
Chasing
is
those
I
green
check.
recoveries.
Yeah, I'm like, please be green, please be green. And I want to have a good amount of sleep.
Yeah, of course.
But to do that, I've got to go on my phone. Yeah. And I don't go on my phone straight. Like, I don't sleep with my phone next to my bed. I don't use it as an alarm, so I don't go on my phone. But it forces me at some point in the morning, I check my phone, and then my phone's unlocked. I go on Whoop, and then I'm sucked into it.
Yeah.
And then there's the other distractions, checking my notifications Facebook. And all that, which is why I try to avoid the phone first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a downside to it,
yeah.
but there's no real going around that. I think that's the only negative I had. So yeah, I don't want this to go over an hour, so I think we're going to end it pretty soon. Do you have anything you want to add that we haven't spoken about?
The only thing we haven't really spoken about that Whoop offers is weekly, monthly, and annual performances.
Yeah,
so
actually,
you can see it in a nice big graph. I'll do the annual one, for example. You can see over the year how your resting heart rate has tracked, which is a good correlation to fitness, your resting heart rate. How your heart rate variability is tracked. Again, if you're getting fitter and stuff, your heart rate variability should be going up. So you can see really easily that gives you a good graph, like I say, weekly, monthly, and yearly for all those things, and a whole heap of other stuff as well.
Yeah, actually, we didn't go into the journal at all, which I think is a good part. That it's a good thing that the Whoop has. That's not today. I'm not 91 recovered today. Let's go to today. But the Whoop has a journal, which are questions that you answer in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that when it comes up for you in the morning?
Yeah, wake up in the morning and
it asks you things that you did before going to sleep, like, did you wear blue light blockers before bed? Did you
eat late? Did you have
alcohol?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Did you have sex?
Did you share your bed?
Yeah.
I think there's one, did you masturbate?
Yeah.
Did you smoke weed?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And that's good because Whoop, I mean, it's good for you because in your annual, the annual data, whatever thing it comes up, it shows you each month that goes past how many times you said yes or no to those things.
Yeah.
And then it tells you if you've said yes and your sleep has been affected every time you've said yes, then that is causing you to have either worse sleep or better sleep. It shows if it's a positive or a negative. So then you can look back and every time you've hit, maybe every time you share your bed, you get worse sleep, and it will show that. Or maybe every time you smoke weed, you get amazing sleep, and it'll show that. For example, I don't know if that's true. I think it's the opposite, but it could be different for different people. But that's good because it can show you what things that you do can impact it in a positive or a negative way.
And then you can use that to...
Yeah, but then also Whoop has all that data of everyone that uses the app. So they have that data from so many people. And they can see, everyone who has alcohol within like this amount before this, it does this to their sleep. Or everyone who does whatever, smokes tobacco, it affects their sleep in a good way or a bad way. And I think that's really good because then they can do so much good stuff with that data. And then the stuff that they can put out to help people and help athletes improve their training is just amazing.
That is incredible.
So, yeah. All right. I think we're going to end it there.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on the show, Russ.
Cheers, man.
Hope you guys got a lot out of it. If you guys did get a lot out of it, please share it on social media and tag both of us in it. Where can you... so if the listeners didn't listen to the first episode that me and Russ did, we spoke about his training and stuff, so go back and listen to that episode. Where do you want to send the listeners if they want to find out more?
Jump on my Instagram. It's @thereal_McCloy. And you'll find all my training videos and logging stuff up there.
And if you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, it's The High Performance Path. Just that. Just @The High Performance Path.
Incredible.
I had to think about that for a second. I don't think I've said that out loud. But yeah. All right, we're going to end it there.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Cheers, man. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this, please take a screenshot and share it. I'd love to see who's listening. And also, please subscribe and give a rating on iTunes. Sending positive vibes to everyone out there. Thanks heaps for listening.